Hi YouTube, and this is JTrain997, and I'm back this time with my review of the G.I. Joe Resolute 7-pack, and this is the G.I. Joe set. Of course, I managed to find both the Joe and Cobra 7-pack at Ross, which was fantastic, because I got them at a huge markdown compared to the online fees. I forget why I didn't buy these exactly when they came out, but oh well, I have them now. As you can see in this pack, you get Snake Eyes, Beachhead, Duke in his Arctic gear, Flint, Scarlet, Roadblock, and over here Sergeant Stalker, although they've got the Ross price tag slapped over his face. $16.99 for this whole set. Fantastic deal. On the back of the packaging here, you can see a couple of different pictures of the characters, and there's this little read-up in the center. Just a little generic thing about the world being in danger and G.I. Joe having to save them. So, not too much to say about the packaging. I think the file cards are all on the inside. Let's open them up. And we'll start the review with Snake Eyes. Now, real quick, his pre-cut file card, as you can see here. If you want to read it, you can pause the video. Tossing that off to the side here. Now, this Snake Eyes was pretty much re-released in the Rise of Cobra line. They called him City Strike Snake Eyes. And as you can see here, it's the exact same figure, different base. They came with some slightly different accessories between the two. And overall, this guy's got a much lighter paint job along with a green visor. So, putting him back up here. But that's not a bad thing, seeing as he was one of my favorite Snake Eyes from the series. Standard base. Now, all he comes with is his rifle. He's got his sword and sheath, as well as his little pouch back here. This pouch's tab was very warped when I pulled it out of the packaging. He's also got this glider. I guess it's meant to simulate the scene where he glides onto the Cobra Island in Resolute, although that was more of a squirrel suit deal where the wings were just beneath his arms, but oh well. Close that. It's not wanting to pop up, right? You usually have to free this one by yourself. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, so the backpack's not the greatest accessory. I got one from the canceled Jungle Storm Shadow figure. Where is he? This guy right here. Never saw the light of day. I ordered him offline, and he came with one. I'm sure other figures have had him before. But as far as his articulation, he does left and right at the head. Can do a full 360, some up and down. Arms on a ball joint, go up, do a full 360, bend and spin at the elbow, and spin at the wrist. Slight abdomen crunch, does left and right. Legs go forward, back, out, double jointed at the knee, and have an ankle joint. Oh, he's also got his sword, obviously. So, this is a really great Snake Eyes figure. Resolute definitely had a cool design of him. Let's actually get him on his glider real quick, popping his tab off. And you can see, just moments after I pulled the patch out, the tab starts to go back to its original warp position. Peg this in. I might leave him on the glider just to differentiate the two in my collection. Although it's not wanting to peg in. Actually, while it'll fit in, there's not a, well, it'll barely stay. There's not an excessive amount of room for the glider. It's more for the pouch, so yeah, it's going to be nearly impossible to get that on, so that's unfortunate. So one of his accessories is pretty much useless. So at the end of the day, you got another City Strike Snake Eyes. Or, well, City Strike was Resolute. You guys know what I mean. So he's still a solid figure. He's definitely a better Snake Eyes, but I really wish he could have used the glider. And that being said, let's move on to the next figure. And next up we have Beachhead. Now, of course, his file card. If you want to read it, you can pause it. Tossing it off to the side. Now, Beachhead's a great looking figure. As you can see, he's got a handgun down here in the side pouch. I think that's actually permanently sculpted on, so now remember that handgun. He's got the same rifle a lot of the Resolute figures come with a light green paint job. Now, a lot of the Resolute figures do come with this particular pistol beside them. Beachhead didn't come with one, but there was one in the pack with the bases on mine. I don't know if that's a mistake, a factory error, or if there was an extra pistol meant to come there, but if you want to, you know, more than obviously, you can swap the weapons out with him. Because I'm usually used to Beachhead coming with more than one weapon. He's a really nice design. You can see there, that knife is removable up there. He's got all the various pouches on him. course, the non-removable gun. So a great looking figure. Going back out here. It's the same old base, says beachhead. Head does left, right, up and down. Tiny bit hindered by his little collar. Arms have the full range of movement for a G.I. Joe. Now, the main torso articulation is pretty much hindered. He can't go left and right, and his ab crunch is pretty much non-existent thanks to his vest. Legs remain unhindered, though. Well, the ankle is slightly hindered by the way his boots are coming down, but overall, you know, it's not uncommon to have a G.I. Joe's articulation hindered at the chest by the vest, so this is a solid little beachhead figure. Let's get his rifle back in his hands. So, that being said, let's move on to the next, which is Resolute Duke in his Arctic gear. Now, once again, file card. You guys know what to do at this point. Now, we did get Resolute Duke single carded in the 25th anniversary line, so it's nice that they retweaked the sculpt to give us the Arctic one from the end of Resolute. Well, not necessarily the end, close to the end. But I'm really liking the design on him. Let's zoom in. See, he's got the little communication gear on his head. They really did a great job on the jacket. Very nice. Now, as far as his weapons, like I just said with Beachhead, he comes with the same old rifle, although Duke gets a black paint job on his, and the same generic handgun. So, pulling him off his base, standard G.I. Joe base. His head is pretty much frozen in place, so that's unfortunate, but at the same time, with this massive kind of coat they've got on him, it's not surprising. Arms are unhindered. Main abdomen articulation functions just fine despite the coat. Legs are a little hindered in going forward, still go back. Knee joint, ankle joint, same kind of little flare with the jeans on Duke as with Beachhead, so just a tiny bit hindered at the ankle. But overall, for such a massive design on the figure, they really did a great job on him. And once again, kudos for not reissuing us a figure that was already done and at least tweaking him slightly. Well, I mean, it's more than a tweak. It's a completely different body, it would appear to be, in most aspects. So that being said, let's move on to the next figure. And here we have Flint. Now, once again, file card. Pause it if you want to read it. Tossing it off to the side. Now, I'm really loving Flint out of this set. Just the overall design of him. Now, he does have his shotgun, and he's also got two of these generic little pistols, which I can't hold right now. So, tossing those off to the side here. Once again, same deal as Beachhead. He's got the non-removable pistol sculpted on his side there. But a really fantastic looking figure. Speaking of which, let's get some of his detail here. Really nice face sculpt. Really loving that vest, all the pouches and little harnesses. So he's also got some shells over here on his wrist, well, on his arm. It's really nice. Now, zooming back out here. Removing the gun, it's just a flat green. Something I noticed when I first pulled this figure out is that the vest is very massive and the peg doesn't want to stay in. So you really have to watch when you're moving his arm on this side, because if you clip the vest, you're going to knock it off. Same with the ab articulation. It's not so much that the vest is hindering it, which it is to a point, but moving it is just going to wear this tab out and it's going to pop off even quicker, so best to just pose him and leave him be, which isn't hard for me. Of course, standard base. His head articulation is unhindered, same with the arms, although once again you need to watch the vest when moving his arms. And his legs are unhindered, with the exception of, well, no, actually the ankles aren't hindered on this one, it doesn't appear, so that's nice. So other than that, he has the standard articulation for a G.I. Joe. Really digging the fact we got a Flint in this set. So let's put his shotgun back in his hand here. And that being said, let's move on to the next figure, which is Scarlet. Now let's get a quick 360 of her. Scarlet, of course, comes with her signature crossbow, which I have in her hands here. Once again, there's a tiny little plastic tab. This is that crossbow from the Rise of Cobra line. I really didn't like the fact that it broke into two pieces, but so I leave the elastic band on, not only to secure it in place, but also because I think it looks more crossbow-ish. I think it looks nice. And she comes with a very nice rifle, which has actually got some minor paint detail there on the shells. Well, the bullets. Very nice. So, putting that off to the side here, getting her up and looking forward, we'll actually go into her detail. Now, I like Scarlet's head sculpt, but I don't think it looks very much like Resolute Scarlet. So, you know, it doesn't bother me because I don't, you know, as I've said with the Renegade figures, I'm not the guy that needs to have every figure look exactly like the cartoon, because I'm really loving the rest of her outfit. It's a very nice redesign of the original Scarlet. Well, I guess reimagining. So, and the modern head sculpt just, you know, helps with that. So, this is definitely one of my more favorite ones out of the set. It's just a very nice, you know, new Scarlet that also pays homage to the original one. As far as her articulation, she does a full 360 at the arms, bend and spins at the elbows, spins at the glove. No crunch at her abs. She does do left and right though. Legs are unhindered to go forward, back slightly, out, double joint at the knee, and have an ankle joint. And her head is very stiff, but it can do left and right, no real up and down. And also the knife on her outfit is non-removable. So let's get her pegged back down here and get her crossbow back in her hands. So yeah, I'm really digging this Scarlet. And that being said, let's move on to the next figure. And here we have Roadblock. Now, his file card once again. Now, Roadblock really confused the crap out of me when I pulled him out of packaging. Not because there's anything wrong with the figure, but because he comes with what appears to be a garden hoe. Now, I even went back and rewatched Resolute, which I hadn't in a couple of months, and in no point in this series does he ever use this or anything that looks like this, so really confused as to why he got this accessory, because for the life of me, I think it's a brand new accessory. May have been from an older set, but I don't think so. So, I have no clue what this is from. He also comes with this mortar shell that the Renegade's Firefly would later reuse. And now, of course, he's holding his machine gun with his ammo belt. Now, to get a real quick comparison, there was a Roadblock in the Rise of Cobra line. It came with one of the Walmart outposts. People called it Resolute Roadblock at the time. And as you can see here, they reuse pretty much the same body, it would appear. The vest is different, and the gun's different, but that appears to be about it, to be completely honest. This was a great Roadblock figure. One of my favorites. So, putting him back up here. Pulling the gun out of his hands and propping him up. I really liking how you can feed the ammo through the gun, although I'm having a hard time doing it now. Really nice job of detail. Now, as for Roadblock himself, he's a very nice looking figure. I do have a little bit of paint blotch on mine. You can see a little black spot up there on his head. Very nice face sculpt. I'm really digging the new vest. It's a fantastic looking figure. And very massive. We'll get a quick size comparison here to Arctic Duke, and you can see he's bigger than most Joes, as he should be. I'm sure we'll get a lot of Roadblocks when Retaliation starts hitting, but until then, this is definitely a nice little cartoon one. Of course, Roadblock. As far as his articulation, he does a full 360 at the head, some up and down. Arms are unhindered from their standard range of movement. Obviously, the vest is hindering everything but his left and right. Abdomen articulation is sacrificed, and the legs are unhindered. So, really great articulation on him. Between this one and the Rise of Cobra one you just seen, I've got to say, I think I really like both of them, but I think I lean towards the Rise of Cobra one more just because I like his machine gun and his the fact that he's got a backpack for his ammo storage. That's not to say in any way that this is a bad figure. I'm really still confused as to why he comes with the garden hoe. But that being said, let's move on. And here we have Sergeant Stalker out of packaging. Now, one last look at the file card. Very nice looking figure. He's got the same gun, same paint job as Beachhead. So, still a nice little rifle. He's also got two of the same old handguns. And much like Beachhead and a couple others in this set, he's got the permanently sculpted on gun in the holster down here. Although he does, once again, have a removable knife. So, very nice. Now, I'm really digging this head sculpt they've got on him. Of course, Resolute put dreads on Stalker. Which actually, in the first line of the 30th anniversary, one of the only figures that wasn't a re-release from Pursuit was the new modern Stalker. And he does reuse the head sculpt from Resolute Stalker. as you can see there. So going back out here. Although he is using the Snake Eyes body on this one. So let's pull him off his, well, actually, let's go and look at the rest of his detail. Now, they used this really light green on Stalker. It looks alright on him. I wish they would have gone a tad darker. Pulling him off his base here. Now, as far as his articulation, with his dreads and this little neck cuff, his head's really frozen in place. As far as his articulation on his arms, that's unhindered. He's got this rig on him, but he still has left and right the abdomen. No real crunch, though. Legs are, once again, unhindered. So, a lot of nice articulation on Stalker. However, at the end of the day, obviously not only easier to find, but I think I really prefer the 30th Stalker more. He's a little more realistic, and while I realize this guy is supposed to be based on a cartoon, I don't know, something about that light green throws me off. I don't know what it is. But he's still a great Stalker if you bought this set, and obviously at the time the 30th one wasn't out, so one of the best Stalkers to date at that time. So that being said, let's go into a final thoughts on the whole set. And here we have all 7 figures. Now, when this set first came out, online sites were selling the set for around, both sets for around $70, I think. I think eventually you could get single sets for like $35 a piece. Now, at the time, that wasn't a bad deal, but $16 is a way better deal. Like, I can't even begin to describe how excited I was to find out these things were hitting Ross, and then they were finding them at my Ross. The one negative thing I would have to say about this set is that there were a lot of reused guns. I really would have liked to see a little more variation on them. But at the end of the day, it's not like they didn't give Snake Eyes a sword or Scarlet a crossbow or Roadblock a really big machine gun. So, they all got what they needed. A little more variation would have been nice, but that's really the only negative thing I have to say about this set. I can't fault them for the fact that pieces have been reused like Stalker's head and Roadblock's body because, I mean, it's G.I. Joe. You're going to see reused pieces, reused bodies. That's just the line you're, getting into. So at the end of the day, I highly recommend this set. I would even say if you're a G.I. Joe fan, I wouldn't, have been disappointed if I paid full price. But definitely if you're a Joe fan and you haven't got these, start hitting up your local Ross and checking. And that being said, this is JTrain997, and I'll see you soon, YouTube.